Hey guys, I'm Jack Moir and this is my 2021 EWS race bike. Alright, so it's a Canyon Strive frame. It's a size large. This is on the small side for me. It's just too... yeah, this is as small as I'd go. I've tried an extra large. That was what I was tossing up with between at the start last year. Extra large probably felt better at home. Like, felt like it suited me a bit better on just local trails where there's not much tech or anything. But yeah, the trails for EWS races are as technical and tight as you'll ever ride, really. So the small bike with compared to the Spectral, this has got a bit steeper head angle and shorter wheelbase, so it just helps way more. We run a 15mm spacer just to slacken the head angle out a little bit and lift the front a bit. Cranks, brakes, SRAM, got the codes. I run 220 rotors just to help pull up a bit, help save the hands. It's pretty hard coming from Oz where we don't have long, rough tracks, like straight into this gnarly stuff. With the size of the hills here, the tracks are so long and rough, and I find the bigger rotors help my hands because I'm not pulling on the levers as much to stop. We also run, most of the time we run organic pads because they're a bit bitier as well, help that, but they wear out a bit quicker, so it depends on the conditions. So for the seat post, I run the RockShox Reverb in a 170. That's the biggest drop they've got at the moment in the Axis stuff. We got the O-chain, which is something I've only just started using. I think I put it on like 3 runs before the race and just tried it out in finale, and it felt pretty cool. I know most people probably already know, but the idea is to stop the pedal kick back. So it just makes your rear end feel super smooth. Got it in the 6 degree, which I think is the max you want to run for enduro since there's a lot of pedaling. Maybe you could run more in downhill where you want the max, suppleness, I guess. You want that side of it more, but you still want to be able to sprint out of turns real fast in enduro, so don't want to have too much like neutral before it kicks in. And yeah, it seems to be working pretty well. So on the Strive, we got the Shapeshifter on the back, which I use on the liaisons and on the steep climbs and like hard pedally sections in stages. You click the lever on the bars and it pops up like that. Lifts the bottom bracket, steepens the head angle and seat tube a bit, and changes it to 130 travel, which is a bit more of a platform for pushing it. It's not as like foggy and like plush as the other settings, so it really helps with like pedally sections and stuff, which comes in pretty handy, especially on that climb we had on stage 3 a couple of days ago. Made my life a lot easier. For the wheel set, we run DT Swifts. I got the EX 1501 wheels on now. They're alloy. I've mixed it up a bit between alloy and carbon in the off season. I kind of like carbon at home better because the tracks are real pumpy and lots of berms and stuff, so the stiffer wheels feel like they kind of help generate speed, and they just feel better on that stuff. But coming over here on the real chattery, like rough off-camber stuff, I like the feel of the alloy better, so I race them over here. For the tires, we got Maxxis. I was always a DHF guy until they bring out the Fassa guy. That's like on downhill and enduro, my front tire always. Run it in 2.5 wide, downhill casing all the time, no matter what bike. And it's the 3C Max Grip compound. For the rear tire, on DHR2, just rolls a bit better, I think, and it's got a good solid good solid braking support. I run that in, I think on the trail bike I run 2.4. Yeah, 2.4 on the rear and the trail bike. On the downhill bike I run 2.5, but downhill casing as well, and the 3C Max Grip. And I run no inserts, just tubeless. Yeah, the Cockpit, we run the G5, which is like in-house Canyon brand stem and bar. I've got 35mm rise, I think, and on my trail bike I always run 760 wide. On downhill I run it a bit wider. I just like the bigger bike to feel like it's got wider bars. Run my levers pretty flat compared to most people, I'd say. I like the the, I don't know what you call all this stuff, all my gadgets, in more. With the matchmaker, it seems to hit my thumb, so we put the separate clamps on and run them right in so they're not touching my thumbs when I'm holding on. I get Tom to set these up like, I don't like much throwing the lever, so we set them up real touchy sort of. So I don't know what he does, but they feel good. We run the Ergon GD1 grips with the oil slick rings, bit of bling, and the Ergon saddle with titanium rails. We just run a little muck off canister and whatever that thing is, put it on the valve. The bloody Trank Brothers multi-tool, got a tube in there. He's got a little chain link tape there in case I snap a chain and need to do something like that. We got a little player plug in here, which is pretty handy. Pulls out, smash it in. See, I'm pretty sure I had a pack on in Pietra because it was like super hot and the pretty gnarly liaisons without water. So I had one, but here it's pretty easy. There's water at the bottom of every stage, so I just carry the bottle. But yeah, it really depends on the race. Got the Crank Brothers downhill mallet. I've been on mallets like most of my career now. I just like how easy they are to get in and out of, and I like floating around a bit on them. I run the downhill one because I just like a slightly bigger platform really, just for finding the pedal when you're dabbing or taking your foot on and off each. Pins, they're all the way wound in right now because I got fresh shoes on, but as the shoes wear out, I wind the pins up, just so the pins are always just touching the bottom. So it's like, you can float a bit, but you can feel it stop if you push down. If you run no pins with worn out shoes, you're just like flopping all over the place. And if you run pins up with brand new shoes, you literally can't get in and out. So you really need to find the right pin height for your shoes. To keep the chain on the front, we got E13 chain guide. Don't run the lower roller, just the top guide and the taco thing to protect the chainring if I send it onto a rock or a root or a stump or something. For keeping it quiet and protecting the chainstay, we got a VHS on the back, which is, yeah, just super cushy rubber. Real quiet. I like a quiet bike. I think everyone does. I don't know, like I'm kind of new to Enduro and setups. I don't really know what anyone else runs, but it's definitely a lot softer than I'd run my downhill stuff. Like, yeah, I've said it before, but if you just do this, like do some testing on the same track and keep adjusting your settings, you're obviously just gonna go stiffer and harder. So I always try to set it up how I'd ride a track for the first or second time, which is not really that fast because you don't know where you're going. So it's a lot softer and more forgiving just for sections that are gonna catch you out, and you want traction when you least think you're gonna need it because you've made a wrong line or you're just going over a slick route or something. So yeah, it's definitely softer than I'm used to running, but I don't really know what everyone else runs in Enduro yet. I had a pretty good year last year with like my first like pre-season of Enduro training and first like time focusing on Enduro, and I went pretty well even though the field was cut down a bit. So I had like a bit of confidence that if I had a good off season and like just kept training hard and riding my trail bike more, that I should get a little bit better. So yeah, I wasn't sure, I was hoping, and I was pretty happy with the result. The 0.4 hurt, but nah, I'm stoked. It's a good way to start. I felt like I was riding just smooth and comfortable, and I feel like I'm riding at a pace that I'll be able to hold all year, so should be good. Yeah, thanks for watching. That was my 2021 EWS race bike. Hopefully we can lay down another heater.